And we're back here doing the podcast on episode number, I think it's 6 now.
Number 6.
Yeah, it's we're knocking these things out. I'm having a good time. Hopefully you are too. You're not ready to quit yet, are you?
Why, did you hear something?
No, I didn't. Although we do have a producer position open. Just kidding, producer Ethan. Just kidding. I thought it'd be kind of fun to talk about some UFOs and conspiracies. Because I'm a relatively skeptical kind of guy, and I'm not a big believer in a lot of the like paranormal stuff. And
you're missing out.
Well, because I watch some of these shows on like, I don't know, Netflix or YouTube or whatever, and there's just so many things that seem fake, and so I have had tendency to discount the more that I hear about it when I shouldn't. Especially when I was kind of looking around at doing stuff for the show, I thought, okay, well, I'll actually take this more seriously and not just discount it. Listen to it and see what maybe formulate some sort of opinion that's a little bit more educated, right?
Well, yeah.
If you think about how many suns exist, right? So we look up in the sky, in the night sky, and all of those little twinkling stars, pretty much all of them are suns,
right?
Can you imagine? I mean, just our sun has, I don't know how many planets, revolving around it, but then there's some that we don't even know about that potentially are revolving around our sun. So just think about that. If there are trillions of suns out there, and then how many planets are there?
Right.
Way more. So the likelihood that there could be other life out there is pretty dang high.
Well, whether you believe in God or not, God never said that he didn't have another Earth going on and trying.
Yeah, there's nothing in the Bible.
He probably started us and went, oops, let's try that over here now.
Right. Well, no, it's true though that there isn't anything in the Bible that says that what we've experienced here couldn't be also someplace else.
Right. And if you want to get crazy, who's to say it's not us later?
So when you were a kid, did you think about like aliens and?
Well, sure. It was a big deal. Growing up, everything was like an alien ship, and the perfect round disc. And but I'm kind of old, so I remember seeing some in the black and white movies. But it was a big deal.
Were you into like science fiction stuff, like Star Trek or Star Wars or any of that?
Yeah, I mean, how about this? My dad was, so I kind of started watching it, but I wasn't a big show guy, so I didn't like to watch a bunch of shows, but. Definitely, as I got older, I was like, well, wait a minute, I want to watch Star Wars. As a kid, I was watching it, looking at things, looking at all the cool robots and all the, cool effects, and not really paying attention to the plot and stuff. But as I grew into enjoying it a lot more.
Because you and I used to do delivery, like courier work, right? I used to listen to the radio quite a lot, and I was doing courier work that was late at night, and I used to listen to Coast to Coast AM. Did you ever get into that show?
I got to watch it a little bit, or listen to it a little bit, yeah.
So I think George Norrie is the host now. Yep. I haven't really listened to him a whole lot recently, but I was always fascinated listening to the radio show because there were so many other conspiracies. It wasn't just about aliens or UFOs. It was about other things, and there was a fair amount in there that it just sort of, I go, God, it's too far out there. I can't believe that. And then even here in Portland, Clyde Lewis does a show, Lewis, right? And there's some stuff in there I just can't believe it. It's just too far from what I think would be enough evidence to believe. Right. Right.
I have a line in the sand that lets me know when that's something I could probably ponder, and this one is just no. Come on, guys. Yeah. You're just filling in the gap between the possible few real stories.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there's a lot of those to tell. So a lot of fake ones to tell.
Yeah. Have you watched any of the alien stuff on Netflix?
I've seen Aliens 1.
Not the movies.
Oh.
Like documentary type, shows.
No, I haven't had any opportunity to watch a lot of that.
They're on my watch list, and I just kind of, every once in a while, I'll put it on, and I get kind of turned off by it.
No hot ones? No pretty aliens?
No, because there's some, what do they call them? I can't remember what they're called, but they're like, they're authors, they're so-called scientists, they're folks who get interviewed on these shows. The one in particular I'm talking about is called Ancient Aliens. Does that sound familiar?
No, I have not heard about it.
Maybe producer Ethan can get online and find. I'll give you some names and you can pull up some pictures. And this may sound shallow to me, but when you see some of these guys and what their picture looks like, you go, yeah, I probably won't believe what that guy has to say. Because they're talking about these weird conspiracies, and then you see the guy and you go, oh, jeez, I'm not going to believe that.
Well, I'll tell you, Bob Lazar is kind of that guy for me.
Well, there you go.
And when I first looked at him, I'm like, I would like to see him convince me. And this is years ago, that I was first looking into him. In fact, at the time, I thought, like,
Bob Lazar
like nobody even knows who this guy is but me. For the most part, that was true. I mean, none of my close friends and people I knew would look into that kind of stuff. But but he just gives me a sense of, man, it's going to take more than just what you say. I need more from you.
Yeah, just do a Google search for Google Images and look up Bob Lazar. There you go.
No, I think he's like I said, either way, he's a bright guy.
Yeah.
But
I can see what you're talking about, though, right? Because if you think about some of our childhood friends and the kids that would make up stories, they look like Bob Lazar.
Yep.
You probably know who I'm referring to.
I could probably guess it 2 or
3. So one of the shows that I was talking about was Ancient Aliens, right? And I watched a couple of different shows. One of them I found interesting was The Creation of Man. Well, so the backstory of this, it's a series of these conspiracies about aliens visiting our planet and influencing different aspects of how we've evolved, right, as a society, right? And one of them was about creation of man, and they go into these things that my grandma, she's turning over in her grave as I talk about it, but talking about, the possibility that the aliens could have been responsible for certain moments in time where we as humans evolved a large amount in a short period of time. Okay. One of the things is language, because we went for a long time not having really a clear language, right? And so there was this theory that aliens came and introduced some gene.
Right. And a lot of people might think that God and or angels could be alien from this planet.
Well, right. And they talk about that stuff. They talk about there's other like jumps where they do talk about the first humans being Adam and Eve and how Adam and Eve could have been that first generation created by alien genes to get from the, if you want to call them the monkey side of our evolution. And people are going to hammer me about calling them monkeys because they weren't. I think they're primates, maybe. I don't want to.
I get what you're saying.
I'm going to get hammered by this.
That's the part of keeping it never too serious.
Yeah.
If you can't follow what he's saying, you just can't have a casual conversation.
Yeah. But so they introduced the idea that there were different phases of our civilization where someone had to come in and insert something in order to get us to this other level.
Yes.
And I don't, of course, believe all that. Look up, this is going to be a hard one. Look up Giorgio and then put in Ancient Aliens, Giorgio. I'll give you some time to do a little search. Yeah. And you get an idea of what this guy looks like, and you go, oh man, I don't know.
Oh, hold on. Pompadour, like big old puffy poof.
Yeah.
I know exactly who you're talking about.
You know what I'm talking about? Okay.
And he's extremely happy to be there and talk about something.
Yeah, and he's out there. He's out there.
Well, I have not gotten to hear him.
There he is.
Hear him much.
Mm-hmm.
I've had to And mind you, I actually want to hear the kind of stuff because I like to hear some of the stuff that is just so out there. I do. I like, because I know that there's some truth heading towards that direction. And I like to see where people's minds are and where they go. But some people are hard for me to want to focus on and listen to, and he might be one of them.
Well, if I come in and I'm already skeptical, and then he comes in and he gives me some information that's even harder to believe, and he's got his hair all crazy out there, and
right? I mean,
it makes me less likely to think that he's truthful.
Well, sure. I try not to take advice from douchebag-looking type things. He's a little douchebaggy. Come on, right?
Maybe a little bit. But there are other ones in the show, and I just go, this is harder and harder for me to then believe, just because I am shallow and I do judge people on how they look.
Well, how about this? If it didn't play out for me enough times, enough to at least utilize it, I wouldn't. There's a reason why we might question a certain somebody one way or another.
Well, what kills me about the show, though, is that they introduce this weird logic where, they talk about, like, this is the way things are, and they have, like, different scientists come in and they confirm that, I believe this is kind of the way they are. And then they go, but if it wasn't this way, then wouldn't it be possible that this idea, it's like they confirm what we think is true, and then they said, but what if? And then they go down this rabbit trail of what ifs, and they start inserting in more what ifs that they frame in a way that seems like it's true. And it drives me crazy because I could see how people would then kind of fall into that trap of believing that the what ifs are actually, this is the way it is.
Right.
And it's hard because that, I think, does a disservice to the other stories that actually might be true and very plausible.